Scott, maybe just if we can start with a little bit of housekeeping with Ville and Simon. Is there a flu bug going around, or what was the issue there today?
Yeah, no, Simon, he got hit with a shot yesterday. I think just kind of we'll see how he is tomorrow. Ville, not so good. Got some bad news on him. He's got his ankle. He's got an infection. So this isn't day to day. So we're gonna just we'll come back around this in maybe a week or so. Maybe see where he's at. But yeah, a little bit more serious than what we thought.
Yeah, with Ville, I guess, do you give a little bit of a fatherly chat? I mean, that's a couple of years in a row, or how do you handle that?
Yeah, I mean, sorry, gets you in the gut there after what happened last year. And like I said, I've had great talks with him over the summer, 2 years ago, this year. He's so excited about coming back. And but it's just, as I said to him, it's a setback, and these are things that make you stronger. And hopefully you can get it fixed 100% and go from there.
Same ankle, just to be clear. Same ankle.
Yeah.
Just kind of curious, Scott, do Marcus and Kieran get conscripted for defense duty, or did they volunteer?
Oh, we asked them because they're not in tomorrow's game. I'm pretty sure they'll be in Sunday's game. It was just so that we could make sure that, because all of a sudden it happened that we found out this morning that both defensemen weren't going to be there, and it would kind of really throws that practice off if we don't have the 8D. So those guys were great. Like I said, they'll go back into playing forward and getting ready to play in the game Sunday.
I know you're not a doctor, so but the infection, like, he was obviously on the ice yesterday, looked good. Like, is it something to do that he just?
He has a screw in his. This is the only thing I'm gonna say. I'm not, like you said, I'm not a doctor, and I don't play one on TV. He has a screw in his ankle, and it got infected. So no. This is sort of the last couple of days. It's kind of swollen up on him, and we weren't sure what it was. They looked at it. It's infected, so it's not good. So I don't know what the next steps are. He's going to have to get more. Doctor's going to have to look at him a little bit more.
And was it guys like Hayden Fleury and Dylan Cogman?
I said yesterday, opportunity. I don't know where we're going to be when we open up against the Edmonton Oilers for our first game in October. It's injuries, it's play. So right now, everybody gets pushed up one notch. So it's theirs to go out and perform in practice and show that they can play the exhibition games. Obviously, some of these D are going to get another look. So it's theirs to go out and grasp.
Scott, can you share with us what your plans are for tomorrow against Minnesota? Or?
It's predominantly going to be. A lot of the young guys are going to get a chance. And like I said, some guys are going to. We're not 100% on it yet. Kind of got a wrinkle got thrown in, like I said, with the D. Ville was supposed to be in. So we'll just. Let me just. I haven't really 100%, but up front, Yager, Barlow, those guys are all. They'll all be. Most of those guys will be going in the lineup. So I do have to have 8 veterans in. So, but our big guys will probably not see this weekend.
One of the things that maybe some of the younger guys compared to some of the AHL guys compared to some of the NHL vets seem to do differently is just the speed at which they make their decisions. They might pick a puck off the wall, and then a veteran will know 3 plays down the line, and some of the younger guys are just thinking. How do you go about, I guess, evaluating that, or like what are the examples that show where a guy is at in terms of what he's processing?
Yeah, I mean, the 2 days, the 2 practices we just had, there's a lot of sort of compete in them in the sense of you're going head to head. You're either going head to head at somebody of your equal peer, or you're going against one of those veterans, and they can embarrass you at times. But it's interesting how a lot of guys will start that way, and as the week goes on, they start to catch up to what the speed is, or they catch up to what those guys, and that's when you see young players that really start to excel. And just an example, Lambert 2 years ago, last year, this year, you see him now being, if he's going head to head, not yet, but if he goes ahead against Scheif, you can see that he's grown. He realizes how do you angle better, how do you put yourself in a position so you don't get caught in a speed situation or a physical situation against a Lowry. So these guys learn as they go, but the best part is that you hear them comment, wow, I didn't know they were that fast. I didn't know that things happen so quick. And it's all what you hear all the time about junior hockey to pro hockey, American League hockey to the pro game, the NHL game. It is a faster level every time you hit it. So they learn on the fly, and it's interesting because some great young players, they pick it up. They learn to pick it up quick, and then they get themselves up to speed faster.
Scott, I had a chat with Capo Kakinen this morning, and it was interesting. maybe Winnipeg, sometimes it gets painted in an unfair light by players or whatever, but he actually said he really wanted to sign here because Winnipeg's reputation with Connor Hellebuck obviously doing what he's done and Wade Flaherty is that this is like a bit of a goalie factory, and LB last year, like this is a place where goalies can come and really thrive and excel. You've been with the team a couple of years. Would you say that's a fair assessment of just what they've got going on here?
I mean, for sure, I think that, you know, when you have, you know, Flats has done a great job with the guys he's had over the years here, and certainly with the evidence with Helly winning 2 Vezinas. I mean, to come in, not a lot of guys actually, you know, want to come in and follow a guy that plays 55, 60 games. But like you said, he was pretty keen to come. You know, I think that, you know, for him, he's still a young goaltender that's trying to establish himself. And a lot of guys to sit, you know, sit behind some of these, sit behind Helly and watch him on his work ethic, his day-to-day preparation. I had the fortunate of being in New York watching Hank, those guys that sat in behind him. You know, we had Talbot. We had a few guys along the way, Antti Ranta. It was just those guys to sit and watch Hank's work ethic, and it's the same thing with Helly, how he approaches practices, how he approaches games. That's knowledge. To be firsthand to get that knowledge is great for your career.
Some veterans have like power distance that they keep from young players. Some get right in and get right into that mentorship. And today, Adam Lowry, after the formal skate was passed, and I think it was to Brad Lambert and Colby Barlow and maybe others, Mark Scheifele might still be out there with Braden Yeager right now. Is that a conversation that you guys have ever had? Is that them taking it on themselves, or what's the vision there?
I've talked to all our veteran group about, you know, being mentors. I'm not saying that I did anything to do with that. They did that all on their own. I talked about it in the summertime. You know, we've talked about it in the past, and that's just them being true pros, being professionals. You know, not being intimidated by young guys coming. I think for any time you can have that, you know, whether it's teaching somebody to how to handle the puck, make a play, or if it's Lau talking about certain situations, if they're goalie type things if it's Helly talking to these young guys, that just speeds up the process. That's stuff that, you know, your coach can tell them all kinds of sort of things as they move along, as they grow, but when it comes from their peers themselves, that's pretty powerful stuff.
Appreciate about Mason Appleton's game.
Consistency, I think, big thing. I mean, we know what we're getting out of Apple. You know, he's embraced that role with Lau, and you know, everybody's got a kind of a role to play throughout the season, and he recognizes that, and he does it pretty consistent.